So, actually, there are three laws of motion. Together, these laid the foundation of classical physics, classical mechanics, or we can say that Newtonian mechanics. What are these laws? Actually, these laws show relationship between motion and force, body and forces. For example, body's motion and forces. Just relationship between motion and forces. First law, second law, and third law. What is first law, second law, and third law? So let's start first law. Newton first law, sometimes called Newton first law of motion or law of inertia. So what was in first law of motion? And due to this law, it was first time that people realized that for acceleration, only thing is force. You cannot create acceleration unless there is, for example, you apply force on a body. So only with the help of force you can reduce acceleration. When there is no force, there is no acceleration. What is the statement of first law of motion? Statement of first law of motion is the object, if at rest, will remain at rest forever, or the object which is moving, it will continue its motion. When, for example, unless acted upon by an external force. What this mean? This means that, for example, a body, for example, at rest. This is on the surface of Earth. So according to Newton, this body will remain at rest forever unless external force act upon it. For example, if external force act upon it, then possibly acceleration can be produced, it will start motion. Same second statement, for example, a body is moving, so according to Newton, this body will continue motion. It will continue its motion forever unless an external force act upon. For example, when a body is moving, this body is moving. So, for example, why it will stop? Why it stops? It stops due to what? Due to friction or force. So friction is an external force. So these two conditions is for the first law of motion. First law of motion, simply that when there is no force, this force means external force, or you can say that this is unbalanced force. When there is no force, there is no acceleration. This is just a simple statement of first law. What is unbalanced force? What is net force? There is some concept between. There is some concept of unbalanced force or net force. For example, a body. Okay, a body. This is body mass m. There are two forces acting upon this body. Two forces. Let's suppose force number 1 and force number 2. Let's suppose force number 1 is 10 Newton. Force number 2 is also 10 Newton. Correct? So what will be the net effect of these two forces? F1 and F2.
Zero.
Yeah, zero. Net force means is sum of all forces. Sum of all forces like, yeah, 0. One is plus 10, and you can see this is in other direction. So this will be in minus 10. So net force will be what? Net force will be 0. This is called balance forces from right side and from left side. What is unbalanced force? For example, body, and one force is, for example, from right side. Let's suppose this is F1, and F1 is equal to 20 Newton. There is another force from left side, and that one force number 2. Let's suppose this one equal to 22 Newton. So what will be net force?
2 Newton.
Yeah, for example, it will be plus 2 Newton or minus 2 Newton, correct? It depends upon your dimension, depend upon your direction. So, for example, we have 20 minus 22 or 22 minus 20 equal to what? Minus 2. Minus just so direction. So, this is called unbalanced force. Due to this minus 2, acceleration will produce. So, this body will move in this direction. Correct? So, the 20 effect will cancel by 20. Only 2 units of force left, 2 newton of force. So, that force will produce motion. Correct? So this one is called what? Unbalanced force. You can see this one. This is a light, hanging light. You can see this one. Like, so how many forces are there? There are two forces. This body is in state of rest. Why? Because forces are balanced. One force on this light is downward. This is called gravitational force, Fg, or Fg is equal to what? Weight of the body. Weight is also a force. Second force is what? For example, tension force. You can see in these chains, there is tension force. For example, we consider this one is T1, yeah, just tension. Tension is upward, gravitational force is downward, but this body remain stationary. Why? Because gravitational force and tension force, these forces are equal. So, for example, if we take tension force upward, this is positive, and downward force negative. So we can write equation tension minus gravitational force. If you can say Fg is equal to what? 0. There is effect is 0. Or you can say that tension and these gravitational forces are same. Mg, you can write Fg. So these are same. So again, summary of Newton's first law of motion, that acceleration produced when there is force. Yeah, you can say that unbalanced force. Correct? And it was Newton that at that time people realized that there is only one agent which produces acceleration. That agent is called force. Without force, you cannot produce acceleration. A body moving with constant velocity, it will remain forever the same speed, the same constant velocity. There will be no change. But when you apply force, external force on that body, then the velocity change, and the change in velocity is called what? Acceleration. This was Newton's first law statement. Okay. Again, you can see it was an inertial frame of reference. So, in the absence of external forces, by an spectator moving at a constant or zero velocity, it means that, for example, where this body is moving, so it will continue its movement. When this body, for example, is a state of rest, so it will remain in state of rest. There is one another word, inertial frame of reference. So, inertial frame of reference simply means that a type of reference in which acceleration equal to 0. When there is acceleration, this means that the net force is 0 and there is no external force on the body. Okay, one another thing, main thing was the first law of motion, also called law of inertia. What is inertia? And inertia actually, this is natural tendency of a body to resist change. Natural tendency to resist changes. Or, for example, it's a property of body to resist any change in its state of motion or in state of rest. What is inertia? Let me tell you. For example, a body is moving. Let's suppose this is moving, and you want to stop this body. For example, with the help of force, you want to stop this body. So actually, this body wants to continue its motion, or this body tends to continue its motion. This natural tendency of the body is called its inertia. This body don't want to stop. For example, a body at rest. This is another body. This is at rest. and you want to apply force and produce motion in this body. So for example, if you want to apply force on this one, so it will take time, it will take some force to continue to start motion in this body. Why? Because this body wants to be in the state of rest. It don't want to start motion. This property of a body is called inertia. And inertia of a body directly related with mass. If the body mass is high, so it means the inertia is high. It is very difficult to stop a body, or it is very difficult to start motion in that body. Body with mass small, for example, small masses, so inertia is small. It is it will be simple to stop a moving body with having less mass, and same when a body is at rest with less mass, so it is very easy to start motion in that body. So what is inertia in mass? Actually, inertia is the property of a body to resist any change in its state of motion or in state of rest. Correct? And that inertia is directly related with what? With the mass. For example, it is very difficult to start motion in a wall. If you, for example, push a wall, so it is very difficult to start. Why? Because the mass of wall is very large as compared to if you push a football. So football mass is less, so inertia is less. Correct? Okay.
So what's the difference between inertia and momentum? Because momentum is just is also, I mean, the the tendency to resist any change in movement.
Okay. Okay, great. Yeah, there is a relation between inertia and momentum. For example, inertia, a body is at rest, you want to start motion in that body. So it depends upon what? It depends upon only the mass when a body is at rest. So if there is, for example, less mass, you can start motion in that body. If for large mass, it is difficult to start motion. But for example, if a body is moving, so you want to stop that. Again, there is inertia, but we call that moment of inertia, correct? Or you can say that momentum. But momentum doesn't depend upon only one thing, mass. It depends upon two things. A body is in motion, so it is very difficult to stop when mass is high. Second thing, when velocity is high. So momentum depend upon two things, mass and its speed or its velocity. But when body is in rest, so there is only one factor, that factor is called mass. Clear, guys? Yes?
Yes, Professor. Yes.
Yes, Professor.
Okay. Again. This body is moving. So how difficult to stop this body? This measurement, this measure is called what? Momentum. And momentum is equal to two things, m with v. So it depends upon two things. Sorry, one is mass and second one is velocity. But for example, a body is at rest. So how difficult to start motion in this body? It depends only on mass, not the velocity. So this is different between momentum and inertia. I hope this is the answer of your question. Okay. Next one. Newton's second law of motion. What is Newton's second law of motion? Newton's first law is qualitative measure of force. But Newton's second law is the quantitative measure of force. Like what? Listen. According to Newton, again there are two statements of Newton's second law of motion. For example, a body of mass m, this is body with mass m. According to Newton, when you apply force on this body, you apply force on this body, applied force. So with the help of force, you can produce acceleration. Correct? But there is relation between acceleration and force. And this acceleration produced by force is directly related with force. This means that when you increase force, you increasing acceleration in the body. When you decrease force, so acceleration will be decreased. Direct relation between acceleration and force. Apply more force, apply, for example, producing more acceleration. Reducing force will reduce acceleration. This is first statement. Second statement is acceleration produced due to this force is inversely related with mass. There is inverse relation between acceleration and mass. This means that heavy objects, heavy mass, you can produce less acceleration. But if mass is less, you can produce more acceleration. Acceleration and force, direct relation, but acceleration with mass, inverse relation. In large bodies, you cannot produce more acceleration. In small bodies, you can produce, for example, one body is this one. Let's suppose M1 equal to, let's suppose 10 kg. This is 10 kg. When, for example, second body, this one is 5 kg. So which one is more easy to produce acceleration? Second one, because this mass of this one is. So in small body with 5 kg, you can produce more acceleration. But in large body, like mass is 10 kg, you can produce less. So there is inverse relation. If you combine these one, this is relation number first, and this one is relation number 2. If you take, for example, A is common here. So A, and we have relation, we have F divided by what? Divided by M. So when you multiply F, M with A, so result is F is equal to what? F is equal to MA. Correct? So this is second law of motion. This is mathematical form of second law of motion. That applied force is equal to mass times acceleration. But again, there are two statements. When you apply force on a body, it produces acceleration in that body, and that acceleration is directly related with the force applied, and that acceleration is inverse related with the mass of that body. The final result is F is equal to ma, where F is force, m and mass, and a is the acceleration. Okay, great. Great. One another thing. Component form of Newton's second law. We know that F is equal to ma, but if there is force component like x component, y component, z component, so f of x, yeah, sum of all forces along x-axis equal to max, sum of all forces along y-axis equal to may, and sum of all forces along z-axis equal to ma. And one another thing, the unit of force is Newton. How you can define Newton? You can define Newton from F is equal to ma, this equation. Listen, Newton, the force unit is Newton. So 1 unit, yes, in equation, 1 Newton is equal to what?
1 kilogram times
Okay.
meter per second square.
Okay. Excellent, excellent. And we have meter per second square. From this, we can define the Newton, definition of Newton. For example, we call a force is said to be 1 Newton when a body of 1 kg, this is 1 kg, when you apply force on 1 kg and you displace this one, you produce acceleration 1 meter per second square. So that force is called what? 1 Newton. 1 Newton, again, a force is said to be 1 Newton when you apply force on 1 kg body and you produce acceleration of 1 meter per second square in that body. So that force is called what? 1 Newton. Okay, any question?
No, Professor.
Okay.
Thank you.
One other thing. Okay, there is difference between mass and weight. Next topic, we have mass and weight difference. What is difference between mass and weight? But mass effect acceleration. Yeah, weight also, but mass also effect, and mass the quantity of matter in a body, but weight is a force. But we will discuss. We have this topic, uh, mass and weight. Okay, let's do this example. I think we have 7-8 minutes, so we can solve this one. Three forces: force number one, force number two, and force number three. These act on an object and it produces acceleration of 3.75 meter per second. Correct? So what is the direction of acceleration? What is the mass of object? If the mass of the object is initially at rest, what is the velocity? It means final velocity after 10 seconds. And what is the speed of the body after 10 seconds? And acceleration is also. Listen, for example, in this question, three forces are acting. You can see these forces. If number one, I component is negative, second component, vertical component, J component is positive. Let's suppose one force is this one, second force is from this side. Let's suppose third force is from this side. This is generally one, if number one, if number two, and if number three. Three forces acting over. Their components are given. And it will produce acceleration. Also given that acceleration will produce. That acceleration is 3.75 meter per second square. But we don't know the direction of that acceleration. The direction will be in positive x-axis, negative x-axis. We need to find angle for that. So how we can find? We can find by component view sum of all forces along x-axis, sum of all forces along y-axis, and sum of all forces along z-axis. Okay. Sum of all forces along x-axis. You need to resolve all forces. So all forces along x-axis. You can see this one is along x-axis. Next one, yeah, you can see that, for example, component of F1 along x-axis plus component of F2 along x-axis plus component of F3 along x-axis. Same, sum of all forces along y-axis. So we have three forces along F1y plus F2y, and you have F3y. Okay, you need to add all I and all j's, correct? So if you add these, minus 2i, 5i, and minus 45i. So when you add these, so all will be minus 42 Newton along x-axis, minus 42. First one is minus 2, 5, and minus 45, so minus 42. What about y-axis? So y-axis, you can write here I, because this is along x-axis. What about y-axis? So y component 2, then we have minus 3, and there is no 0j along, okay, third component. So total is equal to only 1 Newton, and that Newton force, 1 Newton force along j axis. Correct? So now you can find direction of acceleration, because we have force y component and we have force x component. With the help of tangent theta, you can find direction. Then theta is equal to tangent inverse, and we have Fy divided by Fx.
Sir, the J component should be minus 1 Newton, or it should be 1 Newton.
This is
Minus 1.
This is minus 1.
Minus.
Great minus 1. Great minus 1. Correct? So with the help of this, you can find, and if you find this one, tangent fy over fx, I think it's 181 something, 181.36 something. This is the direction of acceleration, and you know 181 angle. Okay, like for example, 180 degree from here to there, correct? 180 degree. So 181 will be like here somewhere. This will be like angle 181 angle, correct? So body will move in this direction. One another thing, second step. What is the mass of the object? So mass of the object. Okay. So for the mass object, we have Newton's second law. What is Newton's second law? F is equal to what? F is equal to
MA.
ma. So if you divide both sides by a, so a cancel with a, we have formula m is equal to f divided by a. Okay, acceleration is given 3.75. How to find force? Who will give me the answer? How to find force?
It,
Because x component is given and y component is also given.
F equals to m multiplied by a.
Magnitude of force.
I think minus 43 over.
We have magnitude of force. Finding magnitude. How we can find magnitude of force? Yes, Zahid.
We can find it through the formula of ax
Great.
equals ay squared under the root of
Great. We have, yes. We have f of x and f of y. So with the help of formula, you can find magnitude of force. The formula is fx square plus fy square. Fx square plus fy square. This is formula. So if you square, okay, minus 42 and also 1. So what will be the result? Let me finalize this one. So we have under the root, okay, 1 square, and also we have 42 square. This one equal to, I think, 42 something. Correct? 42.0 something. So force magnitude, yes, 42.01 something. So we have 42 and 0.01 divided by acceleration, and you know acceleration is given 3.75. So divide these, this will be the result of part second, and I think